And let's go into there. Right. Okay, we're all set to go. All right, let's get the show on the road. Tonight, we're going to be talking about an issue which we have discussed in the past. It's obviously a very serious issue. It's to do with allegations of animal cruelty. But before we get into that, I just want to just confirm that I will be pretty much away from the computer for the rest of March until about probably the last week of March. I'll start putting daily videos back up and the daily email back out. But our first live stream will be probably early April. Yes, I know, Marlena. Varachamos. All right, but only those who listen to the beginning will ever hear it, because I'm going to edit that out. All right, now let's get on to tonight's topic. Animal cruelty is a no-no, whether you're a pet owner or working for an organization like the SPCA. Following our earlier live stream alleging mistreatment of pets within the care of the NSPCA, we have had several people come forward, including staff of SPCA branches, who allege mistreatment by the organization to animals in their care. Tonight, we'll be going down a single rabbit hole to look at the serious allegations made by the Coopers against the SPCA. On my return from my break, we are scheduled to chat to SPCA staff regarding allegations of mistreatment of animals in the care of the SPCA. And we have some video footage which will be included in that particular session. I'll get our guest on. That's Shane Cooper. And we're going to be looking at a whole lot of documents and records with Shane regarding his situation or his experiences with the SPCA. Let me get him on. Here we go. Hi, Shane.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
Excellent. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. All well. Just watching KZN.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, neither Adrian or Yusuf can join us tonight because of load shedding, which is a shame. But anyway, we've got you, and you're the main person involved in this particular situation. We're going to go down a bit of a rabbit hole tonight and find out exactly what your experience has been with in particular, the NSPCA. So just to kick that off, do you want to take us through where you first had contact with the NSPCA and what they've been doing to your family?
Okay. It's a bit of a long story, so I'm just going to cut it briefly and just give up the highlighted points. All right. So for many, many years, I was training dogs after I gave up showing. I was training dogs in the private sector. In South Africa, we still have a huge problem with farm murders and farm attacks and that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was training up dogs in the private sector for farmers and so forth.
Right.
Eventually, after about 7 or 8 years of this, I met up with 2 organizations, anti-poaching organizations, and they asked me if I could train up dogs for them, right? So that they could worry about the personnel and they could train up personnel and I could supply them with dogs. So that's where we started registered the NPO, Titan Arc, and the idea was to take these unwanted, these unneeded dogs that they landed up in society, that would land up in the SPCA or the NSPCA and put to sleep. The thing was to start the NPO to get these animals in, to put them into a quarantine state. So our quarantine time was 90 days because we had to check for distemper, we had to check for rabies, and then also we would assess the dog and make sure that this animal, there is no ways that this animal could land up going to a family. All right. Ultimately, the first prize was that every dog that became in, so-called the rescue, but we were never known as a rescue. We were a working program. So obviously, the first prize was to get this dog a loving home, where the dog could go back to a loving home and lay on the couch and watch SpongeBob on DSTV or whatever the case may be. That's ultimately first prize. Most of these animals that came in, these dogs that came in, couldn't go to those homes. They couldn't be trusted. There weren't pedigrees and such in place that we could follow their history, their bloodline, so that we could know exactly how this dog would react. So most of them landed up into the working and training program.
Now
We
just on that
got
point, Shane, I seem to recall that
yes.
when we talk about pit bulls, when they're interbred with terriers of other types, which is quite common in countries like the US, their personality can be far more vicious than a purebred pit bull. Do you want to just take us through that so people understand the relevance of that?
Yeah. Takes him, yeah, that takes your solid baseline pit bull to a very unpredicted state. The minute you outcross him with another power breed, he's unpredictable. He's not balanced. He's not stable. So it's definitely a no-no. People shouldn't be doing crossbreedings because then you can't predict what you're going to be getting. Remember, within the pit bull bloodlines, there's so many different bloodlines, and there are a few bloodlines that are very, very questionable. We call them one-man dogs. For instance, in South Africa, we have the Sundance line. The Sundance and the Swamper bloodlines come together. Very, very unpredictable dog. Very, very dangerous dog. So it takes some knowledge and education and knowing that breed that we can try and educate the public not to do that cross of those two bloodlines. And then obviously do not cross a Sundance dog with any other bloodline or any other breed of dog, because then you're definitely going to have an unstable dog.
Right. So the pit bulls that you take in, you basically check to make sure that they don't have those issues when it comes to bloodline.
Well, that's why, over the years, many, many years, I've been able to, and many experienced guys and women within this country that have worked with multiple different lines of pit bull, and you get to know their characteristics, their trait, their body stature, their temperament, the sound of their bark, the sound of their howl, their scream, their reactions, their body language. You get to know, and you'll be able to say, well, look, that is that. The base of that dog is made up of that. And then you'll get to know what you can predict that coming out of that dog. You can never, ever be 100% sure. I myself would never say or put my life on the line that that dog is going to be 100% that. This is why we went into a 90-day, what we call a quarantine state. Doesn't mean that nobody interacted with the dog. We just didn't take him out. We didn't work with him. We didn't take him amongst other dogs or amongst other people. We would work with the dog one-on-one, and we get to know that dog properly before we started training. Then each dog, on our farm, I'd employed a husband and wife dog training team, and we had at one stage, we had 16 students on the farm. When I say students, they were learning there to become dog handlers, and in turn, they were also training dogs. So at any given time on that farm in Joburg, I've got videos which I'll furnish the organization with. That phone that the videos are on is in for repairs. It just needs to get a new screen. But I've got all these videos every day, 6 sessions of a half an hour of 6 dogs. So that's 36 dogs, all right? 36 dogs a day were getting trained on that farm in Johannesburg. And this would be for the anti-poaching organization. So these dogs would be taught to be reaction dogs, corridor dogs, line-of-sight dogs, passive patrol dogs, that they could be donated to these anti-poaching organizations, and then they wouldn't have to worry about dogs to get trained dogs. The dogs would then move on and be independently moderated. That means there's security grading, that they are part of the security industry within South Africa. And if they were to pass, they would move on into the organization of anti-poaching. So that was the one sector. The other sector was training these dogs as domestic guardians for farmers. We would train them to do house penetration. House penetration is, for instance, you live on a farm and you have to go to the lands. Your wife is in the house and your dog is in the backyard. Should somebody or an intruder enter through the front, there would be a designated point like a window or a gap in the door or the security door. All your wife would have to do is to scream or shout for the dog, and the dog would enter the house and then flush the house. We called it house penetration. And even so much so that we used to get our trainers or our perpetrators in the training simulation that they'll go hide in cupboards and the dog would still go and look for the perpetrator in the cupboard. Right, so that was the one, the other side, which were the farmers, and then obviously it was the anti-poaching side, and this thing went on well. You know, we got two organizations that were wanting dogs. We then got investigated by Nedbank Corporate in Sandton. They came through, they investigated us, they done a whole lot of things. We took them out into the bush, showed them where dogs were with the rhino, what we were doing. We showed them our training, we done demos for them. And long story short, we won in 1997, we won the Nedbank Superheroes Award for what we are doing for dogs, for human lives, and preservation of endangered species. So that was also a very, very nice thing that happened. Only animal welfare organization ever to have won this award. So they came in, they investigated our bank accounts, our overheads, our expenditure, everything. Any case, long story short, we then opened up a branch in Cape Town. That branch was still very small. And then we met at a public function. We met a guy, I've forgotten his name, but in any case, he was heading up a lot of stuff to do with the Ian Players Foundation, Gary Players' brother. Now, the Ian Players Foundation ran an organization that ran 82 reserves, starting from Niles, now all along the coast, right up into Mozambique. 82 reserves, and you've got all this kind of poaching of small antelope right up until taking rhinos, elephant, lion. This organization wanted 1,000 dogs.
Wow.
Now, 1,000 dogs sounds like a lot, but if you take 82 and you divide your 82 into 1,000, I think it only comes out to about 16 dogs per reserve. And remember, you've got a day shift, a night shift, and then you've still got to have a team that's on reserve that is resting, because you can't work a dog 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you had to go into a rotation basis, and we then decided to open up a farm on the south coast. So the dogs could acclimatize. They get trained in Joburg, and then they come down to the coast and they can get acclimatized at sea level, because all these reserves were along the coastline. And I explained this to NSPCA. And up until this point, NSPCA had been onto my farm about 3 or 4 times. And it's always with the NSPCA, and that it's always petty little things, but you know what? I didn't want to fight or everything. I always signed the warnings. But when I say petty, like Nadia would come to the farm and we'd go and inspect the dog. Now, while we're busy there at the cage or in the dog's run or whatever the dog knocks the water over. So there you can see the wet watermark on the sand. The bowl is upside down, but we're busy with the dog. When she leaves, she'll make you sign. The dog had no water. But you can clearly see the dog's just knocked it over with this hype of these strangers and these new people and everything in her cage or whatever the case. She'll make you sign that's a warning. You've been given a warning because the dog's got no water. All right, that type of stuff.
Just on that warning, what is the significance of a warning, Shane? Is that if you get so many warnings, can they close you down? Well, how does it work?
Well, that is how they build a case file. They start coming to you and they just keep giving you. I've sent all the stuff through to the organization, all the petty things. Like I was just going to say to you, like now, we were taking in dogs. So we constantly had this influx of dogs, of unwanted dogs.
Yeah.
And dogs would come in with internal parasites. The dogs would have worms, or the dogs were in a bad state, or the dogs had been in a fight, or the dogs had fleas, or the dogs had ticks. And if it just so happened, we got a dog in on the Monday, and on Tuesday morning, SPCA is there, they will give you a warning because the dog's got fleas. Although you say to them, get the paperwork, the dog only came in yesterday, the dog's got fleas or he's got parasites, so you get a warning. So they would go and they'd write up multiple warnings, which is all good and well, because ultimately at the end of the day, the dog shouldn't have internal or external parasites. So I didn't argue the point. I always played nice, signed their stuff. In any case, so she'd been on our farm about 3 or 4, 5 times, and I was always upfront with them. And I said to them, I'm starting at the conditioning yard, the altitude conditioning yard in KZN. I said this to her at the show.
Sorry, Shane, just for the record, I'm going to show everybody what a warning looks like. And I've shared that screen with you as well. So that's a SPCA warning to Shane Cooper on the 9th of February 2016. Is there anything you'd like to say about that image while we're just displaying it to everybody?
No. No, nothing too much about that one.
Okay. All right, but that's a
Right.
typical warning that you get.
Yes. Typical warning, and ultimately, if you get a warning 3 times for the same thing, well, then you're in trouble. And every time there was a problem with a medical issue or whatever, please bear in mind, these weren't animals that have been in my care for multiple months or years.
Yeah.
A lot of these animals had only been in our care for a week or 2 weeks when these people come down, because we were moving and training, and we were getting dogs in quite often. So,
Yeah.
any case, so I then said to her, we're going down to the South Coast. I gave her my travel plans, everything. I said to her, this is where we're going. We then embarked on our trip down to the South Coast. Through God, we got into the South Coast. My wife said to me, we need to stop. She never packed in any pots or pans or whatever. And on our trip, I'd taken 2 male dogs down. All right. So the male dogs were to do public demonstrations, and I had 4 puppies. The reason that I had the puppies with me is because I needed to raise those puppies properly before they went to their new homes. All right. So I had the 4 puppies and 2 male dogs. We stop at the shopping center on the South Coast. We go in, we come out, here's a circus. 3 SPCA vans, the Sun newspaper, and a social media group.
Okay.
Right, taking photos, making videos, everything.
Now,
and then they say no, they got to.
We've got some images here related to that. That's
Yes.
okay? Let me just get that up so people can have a look at that, and then you can take us through. I'm going to share this screen with you now so that you're on the same page. Okay. Give me a second. Okay. Open with. We'll do photo gallery. Okay. Now share screen. There it is there. Okay, so when you can see the image, just let me know, and I've got these all numbered so that if you want me to go to number 2, number 3, number 4, just say so. Okay,
Yeah.
so can you see the first one?
I don't know the numbers. I don't know the numbers.
Okay, well I'll
Yes.
just do it in
That's
sequence.
the article. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So what
Right.
happened
So
was
that
the SPCA came along, and we'll just skip that one. Okay, so can you tell us what's happening there?
Well, that is in the parking lot. I had my double cab car and I had a trailer with me, all right, with the dogs in the trailer. We went in to buy a bit of a cutlery. We came out, and this is what you walk out into a shopping center. Big story, big circus going on, because they, listen nicely, they apparently were told that there were guys doing a mating in the car park with Pitbulls. Okay. They've been told that there were guys doing a mating in the car park with Pitbulls. My friend, we were all of about, this was quite early in the morning. This was about 11 o'clock in the day. We were all of about 15 minutes in the shopping center. You come out, there's already 3 vans, the newspaper, and a social media group, as you can see on the photo. All right. Turns out, long story short, if you go through that whole article, the way they've designed it, it makes you sound like these people with these dogs are very, very suspect. But if you go through the whole article, and right at the end, it says there, that inspector says, all our transport papers were in order. All our dog papers were in order. There was nothing untoward that was going on. But the way they wrote it up in the blasé that they made already put a tarnish on my name on the South Coast, because they knew that we were coming down to set up an organization, and we would be turning to the public in the form of funding, and that so that organization on the South Coast would grow. So this was a setup by them, because I know it was a set, because as I moved from town to town, I let Nadia Hansen know my movements. And if you go through that statement at the end, that inspector says there that he was told by NSPCA, these people are coming, watch for them. And this was a setup. This was a witch hunt. So that was the first part of it, right?
But Shane, how did the paper get there so quickly? They must have been tipped off.
They've been waiting for us, because I told her we overnighted at my daughter in Pinetown.
Yeah.
And then I phoned, I said, leaving Pinetown now. I'm leaving Pinetown now, and I'll be in Sheppey. I'll be in Sheppey round about an hour to an hour, 20 minutes from now.
Right.
These people were waiting for me. Obviously, they had one on the top entrance by the top highway and one on the coastal road. And when they saw this van come through, they got all their people come and made this big story in the shopping center. But in any case, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They went on to go make this big story. In any case, I landed up on the farm on the south coast.
Now,
They
just
then
before
visited me there.
sorry, just before we go there, there's some
Yeah.
images of pit bulls in these. It looks like a microwave oven. Do you want to tell us about that? Because I think that's related to the scene, isn't it?
I can't see there.
Okay, let me just get it up. There we go.
Oh, no, that's my that's my thermal design. There you go. That's a thermal design trailer.
Yeah.
All right. You notice there's no gauze on the trailer where dogs can bite into the gauze
Right.
and break their teeth, the wire meshing. All right. That is that window that you see there is 8mm polycarb. All right. Polycarb is bulletproof.
So it's,
and
it's
if you were to
custom
see on
made for the dogs.
Yes. So if you were to see on the lower side of the trailer, there's vents.
Yes.
And inside the trailer, the SPCA inspected this trailer and Waterfall SPCA. It's got fans inside. So it sucks in the cool air, circulates, and blows out hot air out the top. So it's a thermo-designed trailer.
Right.
And the dog is totally safe. He can't get a claw. He can't get a nail stuck in a wire mesh. He can't get teeth stuck in wire mesh. 100% running there on thermo convection air conditioning.
So what happened when you had this confrontation with the SPCA? Did they then take your dogs from you?
No, not there, not these people.
Okay.
They came in the farm that I was busy trying to set up on the south coast. They came to that farm twice. They wanted to see the condition of the puppy. I mean, they get there at 7:30, 8:30 in the morning. Yeah, there you can see that on the trailer.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I had two males. But we were doing a mating. We were doing a
I've
mating.
never seen two males mate before.
Yeah, but that's only SPCA mentality.
Yeah.
Only two boys will grab each other. You see?
Yeah.
And the inspector was there. 4 puppies, 2 male dogs. No, we're busy doing a mating.
Okay.
Please, man.
All right. So what happened? Please, what happened then?
In any case, long story short, when they came to the farm up on the south coast, I explained to them my reasoning for being on the south coast and that we are now embarking on a JV, a joint venture with this person that was managing something from the Ian Player Foundation, and they were looking for 1,000 dogs. All right?
Right.
2 days later, they hit my farm in Joburg. All right, so my farm in Joburg, I hadn't been on that farm now for about a month. I've been down at the south coast. I was trying to do damage control thanks to SPCA on the south coast with all their bullcrap stories about mating dogs in parking lots and that. I was trying to save face there because I was trying to set up base on the south coast.
Yeah.
Any case, so SPCA in Joburg knew I hadn't been on my farm for basically about a month. They came there with a warrant made out to the wrong address. They came there with their warrant. The warrant at the bottom of the warrant said they need to be accompanied by SAPS members. They didn't have one SAPS member there. They came there under Section 2, apparently for dog fighting. All right, but Nadia knew all the time I hadn't been on my farm.
Yeah.
All right, so they came there. Now they took dogs. All right, now they took dogs. And the funniest thing is, most of the dogs that they took had never previously received any kind of a warning for a parasite or whatever the story is, okay? Just about all the animals, bar 2, that they took were my personal dogs from the farm in Joburg. Right. So in any case, they take these dogs, they load these dogs up, and they go. Now they open up these cases against me. 17 charges.
Now, is this back in...
They open up 7...
This is November 2017, is it?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
let me just
September
show
2000.
those. Let me just show those images to people, so we just keep things in context. I take it this Jackie Grove is suggesting that these dogs, for example, are not in a good way.
Who is Jackie Grove?
Well, it's an email from Jackie Grove to Jay Cooper.
Okay. Yeah, that's the SPCA.
Yeah. Do you not see that image?
No, it's too small.
Oh, okay. All right.
Very
Well,
small.
I'll read to you what it says. It says this is number 10 in the series of images, from Jackie Grove, Thursday the 3rd of October 2019, CC Centurion SPCA inspectors. Subject J. Cooper. Good day. In response to your request, please find the information as requested. On the 7th of November 2017, 8 dogs listed below were confiscated from the Coopers' rented property and brought to the Chwani SPCA Waltlu branch for veterinary examination and treatment. And then it's got Angel, a white unspayed female, 2 Twiggy, a tan unspayed female Pitbull, and so on and so on. So do you want to speak to that for us?
Okay, we'll get back to that one because that is at the end of what's coming up now.
Okay. Well, the other one here is
the
other one here is from a DL Ratsela, dated 11 September 2019. Our clients instruct us to establish from you, as well as the identification of the dogs, to be returned to her. Our client is now residing in KZN. In order for her to collect her dogs, she would need to prepare adequate, safe, and acceptable human transportation for said dogs. Is that?
That's also
okay.
That also comes at the end.
All right.
It comes at the end. I'm going to tell you now.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
Please
so
go back to where you were.
Yeah, right. So they take these dogs, and this is where it gets all funny. All right. So they make the 17 cases, these charges. They go to the police station. They open up a case file against me, criminal charges. And now I phone them the next day. But while they are taking my dogs in Joburg, they're on the phone to me, and I'm telling them, why are you doing this? Well, you know that dog's history. You know that dog's history. There's nothing wrong with this dog. There's nothing wrong with that dog. But they take the dogs. So I didn't think that anything bad would happen in the form of killing my animals. Right? I said, okay, I'll deal with you guys tomorrow. I'll phone you. She said, yeah, because they're busy dealing with the animals now at the office in Pretoria. The next day I phone her. This is all I get told. The investigating officer will contact you. All right, so we wait. So now we wait. We wait about 3 weeks for investigating officer to contact me. The whole time we phone there, I've said to them, I'm going to send my personal vet, I'm going to get the state vet, and I'm going to get the professor from Onderstepoort in Pretoria to also come and examine all these animals of mine that you have taken. I get no answer from them. We sent emails, we get no answer. In any case, long story short, I would like to know who is the vet that inspected these animals of mine. First of all, Angel, white Pomeranian female. She was 18 years old. The vet's report says female of about, that's her there. That's Angel there on the left, right? The vet's report says she was about 5 years old. Angel was 18 years old. It's my deceased mother, my late mother's personal dog that I was looking after. Angel was in her late years. She was going naturally blind, and she was having small complications, but she still had quality of life. Every night she would still jump on the bed and sleep between me and my wife, or if we were watching TV, she'd jump on the couch. In any case, they took Angel and they put Angel down.
Wow.
Okay.
And they didn't tell you
they
they were
took
going to put her down.
No, they didn't tell us they put them down. The whole time I was trying to get the state vet, the professor from Onderstepoort, and I was trying to get my personal vet to inspect these dogs and give us their case.
Yeah.
Because the way I see it, if you're going to take a person up on criminal charges, let's put it in a human form, all right? You need to have your district surgeon examine that person for the defense and for the accused. Both parties need to have a medical statement, right or wrong. Right, so that was my thinking. Let my people also, and the independent, the professor from Onderstepoort, and an independent, which is the state vet, can examine my dogs. Because I know on my mother's soul there was nothing wrong with my dogs, man. Angel was 18 years old. This very clever vet says that the dog was 5 years old. 5 years old. Then they want to talk about Angel's teeth were falling out. Because she was 18. She wasn't 5. I've got photos coming through my family with this dog, from a young dog coming right through to 18. Any case, next dog, Marley, my daughter's miniature pincher, 12 years old. Again, this very clever vet says a 5-year-old miniature pincher, also there for teeth problems. All right, teeth problems and a behavioral problem. Talks about that the dog would snap and bite. She's a little miniature pincher of 12 years old. She had lots of attitude. In any case, they kill her as well.
They put her down as well.
They put her down as well.
And that's your daughter's dog, pet dog.
That was my daughter's personal dog. My daughter and my grandson's dog. They put Marley down.
So how did your daughter respond to that, knowing that her dog had been basically murdered?
Well, let me just put it this way. I've got bail money put one side for my daughter. That's all I can say about that one. I've got bail money ready on that one. Next thing is Twiggy. All right. Twiggy, my personal female. They took Twiggy because they said she had suspected cancer. She never ever had cancer. She had scar tissue on her teeth from when she had a little puppy. She ripped her teeth on a nail on the whelping box. Yes, it was unfortunate. She ripped her teeth, but in any case, she had scar tissue. They took her on the basis that they think she's got a tumor. They eventually put her down because they say she had pyometra. Pyometra, and the dog had scars. But you see, what they don't know of is the day before I left to come to KZN, I'd taken photos with myself and Twiggy. My dog had no scars. I've got photos of my dog a day before I came down, left my dog on the farm, and I came down to KZN. My dog had no scars. They talk about my dog had old scars. There's no, and I'll put a photo of this on this group and on to show the public. My dog had no scars. They take her because of suspected cancer and they put her down for pyometra. Now, let me tell you one thing about pyometra. You can be saved. You sterilize the dog. You take the womb out. You take the woman organs. You will take the woman parts out and you remove the pyometra. Why put the dog down? Right, so they put Twiggy down. Next dog, my personal dog, Turbo. Very, very aggressive male. Very extremely aggressive male. But he was my dog. He was my dog, and I've got videos of him and I walking off leash, walking, sit, stay, lay down, come here, retrieve him, a recall, all off leash, but he was extremely aggressive, but my dog. Yes, he had broken cutters. Now, previously I'd spoken to SPCA. They gave me a warning about his cutters. I said to them, the cutters have been probed. There's no live exposed nerve. The nerves have retracted and the nerves in the cutters are dead. He never had cutters. His canines were broken off. The nerves are dead. I furnished them. And I spoke to Bryce, the NSPCA inspector at that vet at that stage, and I spoke to Nadia. But I wasn't there, so they took Turbo. They put him down. Well, him I think they put down while he was still in their boxes or their crates, because I'm telling you now, they wouldn't have been able to have handled that dog. So they put Turbo down. Right, another dog, nothing wrong with that dog. They put him down. Okay. They took a dog. There was a dog by the name of Buddy. I can show you the reports if you go through the reports. Buddy was put down simply because he jumped their fence, their 6-foot fence. So they put him down.
Wow. And all right. You weren't informed at any time that they were doing this?
No. We only knew this. I'll get to how I found this all out. We only knew this at the end when I got the case file that there were no charges against me, but I'll get there. All right. Then they took another dog. Listen to this story. Listen, Yana. So they took these animals in September 2017. All right. I then get a notification from the public prosecutor in Pretoria. All right. That there is no case because we were trying to get our dogs back and my lawyer was between the public prosecutor, the investigating officer, and Swanee SPCA. My lawyer was dealing with them, trying to get our animals back. Eventually, the public prosecutor sent us a photo of the docket. It was marked, I think, 18th of May. This is now from September 2017 to May 2018. They'd already gone from the regional court to the high court to apparently to the attorney general, trying to get these courts to hear their case. All right. No, not one of those courts or public prosecutors wanted to take the case. I never appeared in court once. I wasn't arrested. I got asked, can I send the police my statement? It was a 7-page statement supported by vets reports, supported by the state vet report, because the state vet, remember I said when we were coming down, I had all my inoculations and my paperwork done so my dogs could travel.
Yeah.
The state vet was on the farm 2 days or 2 weeks before we came down, embarked on our trip.
Now, I've got that discussion, the WhatsApp discussion that Janine had with Karin from the state, or the state vet. Would you like me to put that up for everybody?
You can put that up, please.
And we'll just take you through that, because what you're saying is that the state vet, just before they came to your farm and confiscated your dogs, had confirmed that all your animals were in perfect condition. Is
Exactly.
Okay, well this is dated the 5th of October 2017, so the dates match up. And can you see that screen there, Shane?
Remember, I'm looking off the phone, very small.
All right, I'm going to read you what it says. I won't worry about the dates or times, because they're all very close. Okay, so Karin says, "Good morning. Can you send me directions, please?" Janine says, "Sending." Karin replies, "It's raining here in Centurion. Will be able to vaccinate dogs in the rain?" ? And then Janine sends the location via maps.google. Janine says, "Not big rain by us." And then Karin says, "Okay, I'm leaving in 10 minutes. Janine says, "Let me know when you're at the gate." And then at 12:21, this is a few hours later, Janine says, "Thank you so much for coming out. Sorry about the rain." And Karin replies, "We need the rain. Pleasure." And then Janine says, "Yeah, us humans are never happy." And then you got a couple of little memes. And then 12:54, Janine says to Karin, "Is there a state vet in KZN area?" And Karin replies, "Yes, but I don't know who, if you Google it." And Janine replies, "Thanks." Janine says, "Hi, Karin. Sorry so late, hoping to see you." This is now actually in November, or 27th of November. So this is about 6 weeks later or 7 weeks later. Janine says, "Hi, Karin. Sorry so late, hoping you see this message in the morning, not to disturb you so late. You were at our farm a while back for our pits, rabies, and 3-in-1 injections. I just wanted to ask you if there were any dogs that you inoculated that looked in a bad condition or a sick condition to you." And Karin replies, "Hi, sorry. No, definitely not. They were all in a very good condition. Who is complaining? ? And then this is also on the 28th of November, a few hours later, Janine replies, "NSPCA has laid a case against us for things like dirty teeth, happy tail, and apparently a tumor. They took 7 of our dogs. We are still in Natal, and they came to the farm knowing we were not there. We never even had a warning in writing for any of these dogs during any of her routine inspections on the farm before. They ransacked my house. They hate that we have, or we save Pitbulls." And within minutes, Janine then says the case is for animal cruelty. And then she says, "She even took my 18-year-old toy Pom, said for dirty teeth." And then Karin replies, "No, wie the hell dink halla is halla. This nonsense, jalla hondo like moi." What she's saying, just for people who don't speak Afrikaans, is Karin saying, with the English translation, "Who the heck do they think they are? It's absolute rubbish. Your dogs look great. Who was the person handling your dogs?" And Janine replies a minute or two later, "Was per SPCA and Nadia Hansa from NSPCA, and I have no idea where the dogs are. They don't answer my calls when I call to find out if my dogs are okay." And she says, "We got a call from Erasmia Police to say they have opened a case." And then Janine says, "Pretoria SPCA and Nadia from NSPCA." And then she says, "Nadia hates us because we save these dogs and they hate the breed." And Karin says a couple of minutes later, "That is sad. I don't have contact with Pretoria SPCA." And then Janine says, "I just wanted your opinion because I always believed we did a good job with our animals. We take in, even my kids complain we care more about the dogs since they were kids." And Janine then says, "It just makes me feel better that someone that is neutral, believes our dogs were in good condition. Thank you. And then there's Karine closing up. But clearly, the vet in this exchange of WhatsApps, I think there were WhatsApps, she clearly says that your dogs were in excellent condition. Now,
the dogs were fine. The dogs were in good condition. I would never have left the farm in Joburg, all right? Do you see, this is the thing about NSPCA and SPCA. They take everybody for a fool or stupid.
Yeah.
Nobody that gets random inspections, and I can show you the dates of all the inspections. They would come like 2 weeks, and then they would come a month apart, and then it's like another. They don't never let you know when they come in. They're always coming. So logic says your dogs will always be in good shape. And then if there was new dogs, like I said earlier, if new dogs had come in, there would always be something. That's why the dog is there. The dog might have got him to fight.
And just to confirm, we do actually have a timeline here, because Karine came out on the 5th of October 2017. That's a date where she's asking for directions and so on. And then about 6 weeks later, on the 27th of November 2017, Janine contacts Karine and explains that the dogs have been taken. So we've actually got that. We know the timeline we're talking about.
Yes. Right. Man, those dogs up there were always fine. Let me just continue with this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's another dog. There's another dog there called Khaleesi. They take Khaleesi. Now listen to this. They take Khaleesi on this date and they do all their things. And like I've said, I've got photos of the docket. Case closed, no charges. I never appeared in court. I wasn't arrested. I didn't have to post bail. All I've done is sent a 7-page statement with all my vet's reports through to the investigating officer. They took it through to the public prosecutor. The public prosecutors had a look at this. First of all, you entered my property with a court order made out to the wrong address.
That's
right?
Crazy.
You then entered my property with your court order, and you violated your own court order because the court order said you needed to be accompanied by SAPS. You never did. Again, you played God. You done just as you like. All right? So they never done that. Then they took these so-called animals for all these charges that, like I say, what vet inspected these animals? An 18-year-old Pomeranian, and this vet couldn't tell the difference between an 18-year-old Pomeranian and a 5-year-old Pomeranian, right? And then dogs were put down for things that could be sorted out. If Turbo, they say Turbo was suffering pain. He never suffered pain, man. Turbo broke his teeth 7 months before, and they know this because I reported it to them. Everything that happened medically on that farm, I reported to them. They knew 7 months before Turbo had broken his teeth. All right? The nerve on a broken tooth, a freshly broken tooth, will retract into the canine and it will die. Turbo only had broken canines. So 7 months ago, the teeth were broken. That means the nerves were dead. Their lying statement says that the dog was suffering in pain. Well, let me ask you, if you are so clever and you got vets there, why didn't you pull a tooth in question that was causing the pain? But instead, they killed him. And I'm telling you now, they didn't even inspect that dog because they would never have got him out of that cage. They killed him in the cage. That I can guarantee you now. Nobody would have got that dog out. When they loaded the dog, they had to get my people to load the dog for them. Right, so in any case, bear in mind that I've just said that all these cases were thrown out in May 2018.
Now,
there was a dog in question.
Just to be clear, these are the cases brought by the NSPCA against you were all thrown out. Shane?
Yes, all thrown out. No charges.
Okay, right, go ahead.
No charges.
Yeah.
But their statement, if you were to read the entire statement, and the vet supporting affidavit on behalf of the NSPCA, SPCA, you can clearly see it's a witch hunt.
Now,
right?
just
then
tell us about
an independent state vet.
Tell us about that affidavit, which I've been asked not to display because we don't have the permission of the person who makes the affidavit. I've actually seen it. I can confirm that we have an affidavit from that person. Can you just, without naming that person, can you just say what that affidavit's all about?
Well, that was the vet's report, the so-called SPCA's vet's report. All right? And we had to put the dog down because it had pyometra. Well, if it had pyometra, why not just sterilize it, remove the woman organs, the lady parts, all right, sterilize the dog, all right, and remove that, and then remove the pyometra. No, so we kill it. Angel, they just put her down because she was old. Well, they say she was 5, all right, and she was suffering diarrhea. She had gastroenteritis.
The day they loaded her, I mean, dogs are probably freaked out by what was happening.
The dog is 18 years old. You load it in a trailer with Pitbulls next to it in a trailer. The trailer's rocking and rolling because there's crazy dogs in the trailer, and the dog's 18 years old. That part of the country, that time of the year, the temperatures averages 35 degrees. What did you clevers think that was going to happen with this dog?
Yeah.
Obviously, it would have gastro. Now, so they put her down because she's got gastro. All right. They put Marley down because Marley had an attitude and she had bad teeth. Well, why not pull the teeth in if they were that bad? All right. Then we moved on with Turbo and Fetty, another dog, Fetty. Fetty came to us through another organization. All right, that had to get rid of their dogs. We adopted Fetty. We brought her into the organization, and this dog could never go out on our working program. All right, she was just such a sweet, loving dog. But when she was at the other organization, she got bit in the eye. Listen nicely. She got bit in the eye and damaged the tear duct. When that organization got inspected by SPCA, that person running that organization provided the vet certificates, all right, or the vet's report about Fetty's eye. It is reported that it was a damaged tear duct. Right. Now, the dogs in my care, Nadia comes down. This area, part of the eye is always wet. Nadia says the dog's got listen nicely, eye infection. Okay, I got a warning, I've got to get a vet's report. I take the dog to my vet, I get a vet's report. Vet's report says it's a damaged tear duct. The tear duct doesn't open and close, it just constantly weeps. The tear duct in the corner of the eye constantly weeps. All right. Nadia takes a dog, and all of a sudden, this miraculous, clever vet, they put the dog down because of severe eye infection. But Nadia had spoken previously about an eye infection on 2 different vets from 2 different parts of Johannesburg. Both came back with a weeping tear duct. But thank you, SPCA, Nadia answer. The dog was put down by, according to the vet, for the same thing that Nadia had asked about weeks ago, an eye infection. So they put Fetty down for an eye infection.
Shane, who authorizes the euthanization of dogs? Who's the person who actually signs the paper?
Well, I would say at that moment in time would be the senior inspector, which would be Nadia Hansa, or Pretoria SPCA manager.
But just legally, do they?
I got something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you see this? I'm going to try and show you another phone.
Yes,
Can you see this photo on the phone?
I do, yes.
Have a good look at that. That is Twiggy. That's the dog that they say in question was full of scars. That photo was taken a day before I left to come down to the coast. That is Twiggy.
Well,
that's the last living memory I have. Can you see any scars? Because according to this clever SPCA, the clever vet, this dog was full of scars.
Just take it slightly further away. That's better. Yeah, just like that. Okay, yeah, look, we could see there were no scars on the faces for sure. Okay.
Now their report says the dog was full of scars on its face, but I've got photos. The dog had no scars.
Yeah.
So in any case, let's get back to this other dog, Khaleesi. So they take the dogs in September. The cases are all thrown out of court in May the following year. They then refuse to give our dogs back to us. Khaleesi dies, listen nicely, public. Khaleesi dies in the care of the Pretoria SPCA, Swanee SPCA, in the November of 2018, of, according to them, distemper. They had no reason to keep our dogs. Their cases had been thrown out of court in the May. They kept our dogs until the following year. But that year, 2018, November, Khaleesi dies in the care of SPCA because of distemper. What kind of vet is operating that SPCA that your animals are dying of distemper? What kind of management system are you people got that you've got distemper on your property? Distemper is a national reportable disease, needed to be reported to the state's vets. There was no distemper on that property. We've checked up with the state vet. There was nothing reported for on distemper in that SPCA in that period of time.
Now, just
You see,
just to
what
be
they couldn't
clear,
counter was having
sorry, Shane, just to be clear, the NSPCA took your dogs in October 2017, and we're talking
Yes.
about May 2018. This dog getting distemper while it's been in their care the whole time.
No. In May 2018, the courts declared no case against this man.
Right.
No charges.
Against
no
you.
Case. Yes, against me. Then we pursued to get our animals back.
Right.
November 2018, Khaleesi dies in the SPCA.
Okay, so that's over a year after they've taken control of your dogs.
Yes, and you know when we actually got some of our dogs back?
When?
2019, November 2019. And while our dogs, listen to this. They take a cat, my cat on the farm, because she had a hernia. She was only 9 months old. They take my cat, all right? She's got a hernia. I said to her, I gave them the vet's report, the hernia doesn't create an issue for the animal's quality of life. So when they take the dogs, they take the cat because she's got a hernia. When we ultimately go and end up fetching our animals, the same cat still got the hernia. So what kind of law are you trying to force onto the public that you take an animal because of medical issues? That animal's only been in my care for 9 months. The animal spent 2 years in your facility, Miss and Mr. SPCA, and you people still didn't sort out that hernia or even then put the animal down. But instead, the cat had kittens in the SPCA. When my wife went to fetch our animals, here's our cat and her kittens. The kittens were about 5 or 6 months old already. Really?
How could that have happened?
Yeah, well, who knows what happens with SPCA and NSPCA? Your animal gets taken away, and then when you go fetch it, you don't have one, you've got 5.
Shane, look, I've listened very carefully to your story, and the thing I don't understand is, look, I know a lot of people who've got pets, and the older pets, most of them have got ailments, just like old people do. You've got comorbidities, you've got a weak heart, or you've got, you might have a bit of cancer, but it's very expensive to operate on a dog and take cancer off. So a lot of people just keep the dog until the cancer is in a position where it's becoming uncomfortable, and then they have it put down. So, these sort of ailments are not unusual in pets, especially the elderly pets that people have. And they still give these animals quality of life. But what you're suggesting is that the NSPCA came out to your property when you weren't even at home. They had the wrong address, so they shouldn't have actually gone onto your property in the first place. That's on the order. And they also were supposed to go out there with the South African Police Service, which they never did. And I guess the SAPS would have been there just to make sure that nothing else was taken. And then they put down animals which they said had minor things like teeth which weren't perfect and stuff like that. They actually euthanized those animals without consulting you at all. That is wrong.
How about this? How about putting the dog down because they couldn't contain him? He jumped their fence, so they just kill him.
Well, that's crazy.
Buddy jumped the fence, so they kill him.
No, look, there's a very
Not
interesting...
put to sleep. When you get put something, wakes up.
No.
When you go to sleep, you wake up. It's not put to sleep. It's killed. They killed him.
There's a question in the side chat here I want to put to you. And Toko says, please ask your guest where the antagonism with the SPCA woman started and what it was over. So there must have been a point in time where she suddenly got on your case and decided she was going to give you a hard time. Well, what instigated that? Can I
answer that? Why?
Please, go ahead.
Because for the first time in South Africa, within the Pitbull breed in South Africa, there was going to be a success story. Unwanted dogs, unneeded dogs, abandoned and abused dogs come into an organization. This organization, and I've got videos. I mean, I'm going to tell you something now, but in any case, I've got videos of the training that was going into these dogs. These dogs were then getting put out into underlying areas like farmers, as domestic guardians, not security dogs, because they would sleep in the house or they would sleep in the farmer's store or workshop and ride around with the farmer or run around the house and defend the farmer's wife, go out into a working scenario on passive patrol on farms so that the wandering eyes can see, well, people walk around here with dogs, so it's called passive patrol. Farm reaction units had my dogs there. They'd taken the dogs and had them independently moderated so they could be a reaction dog for a farm attack, right? So it was all that, the anti-poaching. There was a success story, right? So less animals are going to be killed. Nedbank honored us with the winning of the Superheroes Award 2017 because of the nature of this program. It was a success story. The Ian Player Foundation, that never ever happened because of the stories that came after the dogs were taken. They wanted 1,000 dogs. It sounds ridiculous to you people out there in animal welfare, 1,000 dogs, but bear in mind the Ian Player Foundation manages or controls 82 reserves, and if you were to give, I think it's 16 dogs to each reserve, there's 1,000 dogs. All right, you've got a day team, a night team, and a resting team. All the teams would be on rotation. Now, SPCA Nadia Hansa came to my property, and when I explained to her exactly the first time she came what we actually do here, she ceased all my training, said to me I needed to apply for the PAPA certificate, Performance Animal Protection Act. She gave me the runaround for 3 months to the state vet. State vet don't do it. Then it was to Department of Forestries and Fisheries. They don't do it. Then it was back to your local council. They don't do it. For 3 months, we couldn't continue with our training because SPCA, I can show you the warning, said everything comes to a standstill till I get the certificate. After a long story, 3 months, I can't come right. I phone the NSPCA office. I speak Afrikaans. I say to them, but in Afrikaans, who can help me with a Performance Animal Protection Act certificate? They put me through to a lady by the name of Meg. I speak to Meg. I speak Afrikaans. I didn't say I'm Shane Cooper from Titan Hawk. I said my name is Piti from Gamadula, so whatever the case is, this is what I do. This is what I believe I need to get. She says to me, sir, you don't need that. That does not apply to you.
So the NSPCA basically put your whole training program on halt over a lie.
Yes, and I've got that on paper.
Wow.
My dog trainers ended up taking me to CCMA. I've got a CCMA report because now everything had to come to a standstill.
Yeah.
All right. So I said to the dog trainers, you guys can continue living on the farm, but go find alternative work for now. All right. Until we can get this sorted out. They took me to CCMA.
Wow.
Because based on Nadia Hansa's, I need the PA. So does she even know what she's talking about in her capacity within the organization? Or is she vindictive?
Yeah.
Because I never ever, for what we were doing, remember, we were not, us personally, were not putting dogs out as poaching dogs or anti-poaching dogs. We were donating trained dogs to organizations. We were not putting dogs.
Sorry, Shane, I just want to say that when you look at the state of the farm murders and farm attacks in South Africa, the work that you're doing is incredibly important because you're stopping farmers being attacked by providing them with animals which will protect the family. I mean, that should be, as Nedbank agreed, that should be recognized. You shouldn't attack someone for doing that.
Totally. So this is why SPCA and NSPCA got onto us, and they came with this witch hunt to slander and to blacken my name. Please trust me, people, when I tell you there was no animal cruelty involved. They came with their slander to blacken my name, to shut this organization down, because it's a success story. They were going to have less animals they could kill, and there would be less animals they were getting paid for to kill. Bottom line. Animals, one organization wanted 1,000 dogs.
Yeah.
Now, please bear in mind, I never once said I'm an anti-poaching officer. I train dogs to work and to react and to perform a function in anti-poaching. I train dogs to protect families, to protect the household, to protect the woman of the house.
So just a question here. Because of the NSPCA's actions, you're talking about 82 reserves that the Ian Player organization protect. They wanted the 1,000 dogs so that they could use the dogs to stop poaching. I take it that because the NSPCA did what they did, no dogs have been trained, and those 82 reserves probably have a lot of poaching happening. So instead of actually stopping animals being killed, I'm talking wild animals being killed, the NSPCA have actually been party to allowing poachers to continue to do what they've done on those reserves. Am I correct in that suggestion?
Well, basically, that would be my thinking. They've made it easier. The actual organization that was out working with the dogs, they made it so difficult to actually put a dog in the bush to work and to save rhinos, lions, elephants. They've made it so difficult.
So
Difficult.
what is the NSPCA's job then if they're not out there to try and save animals?
I don't see much what the NSPCA do except collect money, eh? And that I can prove as well.
Well, think about all the dogs in the townships. Do they go after those dogs? Because I've heard of dogs which are basically starving in the middle of the street and no one helps them. You know, they're just lying there half dead.
Let me tell you something. I live in a township. My farm currently is on the border of a white suburb and an African suburb, and my address falls in the African suburb. We have been on this property for 4 years. A year and a half ago, in COVID, Titan Ark, we embarked on a rabies inoculation vaccine drive. Titan Ark, my wife, my daughter, and our people from Titan Ark, which was certified by the state vet. They done the injectors course and that through the state vet. They inoculated 7,000 dogs.
Wow.
7,000 dogs. Titan Ark inoculated 7,000 dogs, all right, through the help of the state vet. The state vet provide the inoculations, and this organization with its students and its staff inoculated 7,000 dogs in 2,800 cats. Okay. Guess what? SPCAs phoned the Veterinary Council and complained because we are taking their clients. Now, let me tell you one thing, SPCA. There's no ways a 60-year-old mama with a burbu is coming to visit you people to get an inoculation for 300 rand. When the inoculations were given out here free of charge in the African township. That they complained to the Veterinary Council. Listen. They complained to the Veterinary Council. The Veterinary Council then complained to the state vet and put a stop to it.
Wow. But when did this happen? Which year?
This was now 2021, 2 years ago.
Okay. So they're basically just really after the 300 rand fee that they get for injecting dogs.
Well, I don't know if it's 300 rand. That was a thumb suck.
Okay.
But I know it's not for free.
Okay.
I know it's not free.
But also, do the SPCA ever go out into the townships and harass people there with dogs that are starving or they're in poor condition?
Well, we're on the main road leading into the township, and I often see the two African SPCA inspectors driving up and down. So I do believe they're doing some sort of work here, but those two African guys also live in this neighborhood, apparently, and they are decent. Those two inspectors are decent. They are good guys.
Right.
But we've never seen them do work. Through COVID, we've done food drives here. We raised food, got donation of food, took food into the township. We never ever saw SPCA during COVID. Never saw them during COVID.
Okay, now look, I've got another document here that we haven't talked about yet, but it's a very recent one, and I'd like you to just take us through what this is all about. It's headed up Kloof and Highway SPCA, and it's addressed to Titan Ark, and it's warning number 5129. Can you just tell us what that's all about? Because that's recent. That's 16th of February last year.
Scott, I can't read you. I'm on the phone. That is so small.
All right. I'll read it to you then. I've got it on the screen so people can see. It says, warning number 5129. You're hereby warned your animals are infested with external parasites. Your current treatment is ineffective. You need to not only treat your animals, but the environment that they're confined to. We recommend that you consult with your veterinarian as what is the most effective treatment. Please provide us proof of what treatment will be utilized. This needs to be rectified by midday Friday, the 18th of February 2022, and proof needs to be sent via email. There is a serious fly infestation on your farm, with animals observed with fly strikes, and you need to do fly control. All the animals on the property with wounds and fly strike wounds need appropriate treatment within 24 hours. And then it says Bella's chain is unacceptable and short. If water logging is a problem, then Bella should be moved. She needs to put on longer chain by midday Friday, the 18th of February 2022. And then it says this warning has been issued, etc., by the SPCA. And it's by an Inspector Petra Abrams. What's that all about?
Okay, so that's the normal inspection when they come round, but we've now got a court order about their stories about coming here and whatever. And yes, we did have, that year, we had a very, very severe flea outbreak here on the property. Bearing in mind, this farm, like I said, we've only been on this farm 4 years. So if you go back to then, that we would have only been here 2 years. This used to be a horse farm.
Right.
All right. This used to be a horse farm. And I don't know if it was the rains or something, but we had this huge outbreak of fleas. And obviously, we've got the indigenous tribes and their cattle that wander through our property here as they like, which we quite okay with. So we had a huge infestation of fleas. We had a huge infestation of flies. And then obviously one of the dogs that live on a run, her chain was a bit too short. But that is your general, when they come round, they will always find something.
Yeah.
You know, you show me any household that never has a flea on their dog or their cat. Right? Show me any household or a farm area or whatever that there's never a fly on a dog's ear. You have these problems and we deal with it. We had fly traps up, but SPCA didn't like our fly traps. We had to go and buy other fly traps, and they were happy with that. In 24 hours, we had to provide, which we've done, and we've come right the last 3 or 4 inspections and nature. They're actually quite happy with the property.
Right. Okay. But that's down in Durban, is it, that one?
That's property. The current farm that we're on at the moment.
Yes. Right. Okay. All right. So basically, that's all been sorted. But that again just shows you what a warning looks like.
It's a continuance, and this is why I've stopped doing what I do, because the more I was doing, the more they were harassing, the more they would cost you funds in the form of vets, bills or whatever. So I've stopped that. I've stopped that, and I've resigned from Titan Ark. Got nothing to do with Titan Ark. My wife, my daughter, and 2 other people, they run Titan Ark. Or yes, I live on the property of Titan Ark, but I've got nothing. So now it's just a normal rescue yard.
Yeah.
A normal rescue yard. We only had this issue when we were running this program of this anti-poaching and the dogs and students, training of students and so forth. That's when SPCA had to put us, and they've done a good job. They slandered my name. They painted me. NSPCA would never run out and tell people this, and this about Shane. They got all their little minions to run out and spread the rumors amongst themselves. So much so that there was even social media groups called Shane Must Fall. Shane Must Fall.
Wow.
People were wanting to take onto my property and to put trackers on my car and my dog trailers. And really, guys? Really?
Okay, now look, I just want to summarize, because we basically covered your story now, but just in summary, you get recognized in 2017 by Nedbank for the work that you're doing to protect lives and help people in South Africa through your work with Pitbulls. Okay, you get that recognition. You meet someone from Ian Player's organization who says, hey, what you're doing is fantastic. We need 1,000 Pitbulls to go and work on 82 different game reserves that we look after. And then all of a sudden, out of left field, while you're in KZN, basically establishing this relationship with, I guess, Ian Player organization and trying to get that Pitbull side working, all of a sudden you get hit in a shopping center, which looks like a pre-planned attack, and then you get a negative report in the paper. The people at the NSPCA know that you're in KwaZulu-Natal. They know you're not on your farm in Gauteng. And while you're away, they go and basically raid your farm with an order that's incorrect. It's got the wrong address. And they take all your animals, and they then euthanize some because they say that they've got bad teeth or whatever, without ever letting you know that this is what they're going to be doing. And then they keep your dogs for nearly, 2 years. They hold your dogs for 2 years.
And they wanted me to pay the kennel fee.
And sorry, there's more to this, because then you live near an African location, and your your family or friends inoculated 7,000 dogs in the townships against rabies, and that pissed off the NSPCA because you were taking their clients. In other words, you were doing it for free where they would be charging. And then after that, you get this other warning down at the KZN farm from this woman from the SPCA. So that's a bit of a timeline, isn't it?
Oh, well, that's just the way it is, It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But I'm not leaving this. I'm not leaving this.
Yeah. So where are things now? Because I've got a document here that was provided which says Security for Cost Magistrates Court Rule 62. What's that all about?
Okay, so I've opened up a civil suit against the NSPCA and Swanee SPCA. All right. I don't know much about the courts and the systems and the way they do it. Contrary to what they actually believe, I've actually hardly ever been in court or had to deal with lawyers and that. All right. We approached an advocate, a lawyer and an advocate, and the advocate said, well, this is the damages that's incurred. This is what we should fight for. And we have submitted that case. We've opened up this civil case against them. Long story short, lawyers and advocates that have been dealing on this case and that NSPCA just dragged it out. Now they say, deny anything. It's got nothing to do with NSPCA. They put in all the blame on Pretoria SPCA, when the whole time from the word go, it was all Nadia Hunt and NSPCA. But in any case, they've caught us now with a bit of a snooker. They wanting us now, we need to, their lawyers or their advocates, we need to put down 200,000 Rand as security so that we can take them to court. Because they believe they're going to win this case, and then if they win, where's the money coming to pay their advocates?
But hang on, that's not how it works. I mean, if you sue someone, you go to court, and if you can't pay, well, then you're bankrupted. They can't stop a case going before the courts.
This was their last thing that they could do before we get them in court. So they've tried every loophole, they've tried every way to jump and dodge the bullets. All right, so this was now, somehow they managed to get this right, that I have to provide the security for their legal team. In the event that I should lose, I need to pay their team. There's no ways I'm losing. You're on my property illegally. You removed my stuff illegally. I'm going to open up, the criminal charges are opened up. You were on my property illegally. You took my stuff illegally, regardless of anything else. And then we're going to still fight this thing with this very intelligent vet of yours. An 18-year-old dog, she says, was 5 years old. And in the report, please, SPCA, go and have a look, see there. What dog did you amputate? Because your vet's report speaks about you amputated a dog. You killed a dog by amputation. So please go read your very own vet's report. There's no ways I'm losing this case.
Yeah.
But we'll come right. We're going to move forward and we're going to win this case.
Yeah. Look, it's very sad because people trust the SPCA to do the right thing, and I'm sure most of the SPCA branches are good people. They're doing the right thing, but you just need a couple of bad eggs and you can ruin it for everybody.
You want to hear something ironic? When I was a young kid and we lived in Primrose Hill on the East Rand, Germiston SPCA was about 1.2 kilometers away from us. In the school holidays, I used to volunteer at the Germiston SPCA. as you used to walk into the old SPCA, there they had budgie cages and like little parakeets and cockatiel cages and that. There. In school holidays, I used to go clean those cages and build little nests and that. I used to volunteer at the SPCA, and now this is where I stand today. So yeah, you just never know. Walks of life, stories of life.
Well, Shane, I look at your story and I just say to the NSPCA, shame on you. Why aren't you spending as much attention on what's going on in the townships where dogs are? I've seen so much evidence of this in videos and so on, where the animals are they're being treated appallingly, but apparently that's taboo territory. They'd rather go after people who live in suburban homes and just make sure that their dogs are okay, because if they're not okay, they can then issue fines. And as you say, it's quite a good job if you can get it.
Yeah, well, Scott, we don't know. We just carry on. We just got to live and get through tomorrow, as life is here in South Africa.
Yeah.
And obviously, I've got to continue fighting my fight, and they got to continue fighting their fights.
Yeah.
But they screwed up, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
they
look,
screwed up, yeah.
I can tell you that we're scheduled to have a live stream early in April, where there's some video footage of pretty horrific things happening at the hands of the SPCA, and I'm not going to say what they are, but these are the allegations, and we will be discussing those next month. And look, all I can say to the NSPCA is, guys, pull your heads in. Seriously. And
we are.
Yeah, go ahead, Shane.
We are waiting on a few different documents to come in, and the one thing that we have been told. Now, people like to talk stories, and sometimes there's truth in stories.
Yeah.
The one thing that we have been told, if that thing they come to light with that document, and the proof is there, very, very sad day for all those people. They're all going to jail. That's what I can say.
You're talking about the NSPCA.
Yeah, well, their people and their stuff. If that document that their own SPCA managers have told us about. People from up country, they have told us about this, and if we can get that document, like they promised us, we'll get that document. This country is going to be shocked. This country is going to be very shocked.
Wow.
That's all I can say.
All right. Well, look, I'm going to wrap up this live stream. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Shane, that we might not have covered?
Well, basically that is it. Guys, I believed I was doing a good thing. I was doing a good program for the animals, for the dogs. I believe I was doing a good program. I was doing a good thing for the students, because most of our students were ex-addicts that come out. They didn't have life skills. On that farm, we would teach them workshops, motor mechanic, welding, metalworking, boiler making, and then also dog handling and that. We were doing a good thing for the brotherhood of man. And in any case, it was all shot down, and simply because we were a threat. And people say, but how could you ever be a threat to SPCA or NSPCA? We could never be a threat to them. But you know what was happening? When I won that Superheroes Award, our membership base exploded. We used to have ladies in the shopping centers that would sign people up on a monthly debit order to support the organization so we could grow. Right, and we shot overnight to 44,000 members. Wow. Not every member was supporting financially, but we were growing. And that was the shocker, that you need to stop this organization, because that little bit of animal welfare money that gets donated every month is going to be so much more diluted now, because so many people are going to support this organization. We weren't just saving Pitbulls, we were saving farmers. And not just white farmers, a lot of African farmers, colored farmers, Indian farmers took our dogs, had our dogs. We were saving endangered wildlife species. I believe we were doing a great program. And it's all in my heart. The only reason why this has happened is because it came down to money. I'm one person. We had 3 directors, myself, and we had 16 students. We had trainers. We had 102 dogs at one stage. It all costs money, man.
Yeah.
But we were doing something, the public enjoyed it, and we were doing demos at public functions, and the public were getting behind this organization, and the public was standing together for a change for once, and all races of this public. And the only thing is because the money was going to be diluted so much more. Let's close this out down. Let's create this drama. Let's create the scenario. Boom, blacken his name, and here we are. Here we are now. This is where we sit now. All right. So, in any case, thank you to all the viewers, and guys, please do me a favor. I'd just like to give a big shout out to the Gruer Foundation, to the Pitbull Special Victims Unit of South Africa for their support and for hearing my story, for supporting my story. Thank you for Yusuf, for he's a human rights attorney. Thank you so much for your advice and for your support going forward. And to the organization, thank you so much for your support doing this and hearing my fight and backing me with my fight. People, please get behind the Pitbull Special Victims Unit of South Africa and the Gruer Foundation. If you've got a like my story like myself, please get hold of them and come on this platform and expose these people to the nation of South Africa. It's not just one person. We all know I'm sitting with files and files that I'm getting ready to take to the Public Protector's Office. Please get hold of the organization and can air your views, come air what has happened to you, because we need to educate the public so don't put down because somebody else needs to make extra money.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Scott.
Look, thank you, Shane. And I just want to close with just confirming or reaffirming that, I know that I would say just about all SPCA branches are run professionally. They would probably be as horrified as people watching tonight are hearing about what Shane has been put through. So I think we need to be very clear that this is not something that is rampant throughout the SPCA. Yes, there appear to be some branches of the SPCA which have huge issues, and we will be talking about that next month. But I think most of them, you would agree, Shane, are doing a good job.
Well, there's a lot of, like I said before, there's a lot of great SPCA people that I've met, right? And the branch that I deal with when they come around here, yes, that sometimes they've had to come here because of they've had NSPCA and that, but the working coalition between them and the people of this property, there's no animosity in that. They've got a function to perform, and our people have got a duty to defend. But we get on well. Well, we did get on well. Across the country, I've had some good dealings with SPCA. But when it comes to the hierarchy, to the mafia side of it, when it comes to money, they'll throw anybody under the bus, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think one get a order for that as well now.
Yeah. All right. Shane, thank you so much, and have a great evening.
Same to you, Scott. Thank you so much for your time.
And I hope that everything turns out right for you, because clearly, where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's a heck of a lot of smoke from what you've told us tonight.
Well, the nice thing about life is everything will come to the light, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. We just got to walk our life and see where we go.
Absolutely. Take care, mate. Bye for now.
Bye. Cheers, buddy. Bye.
All right, guys, that was Shane Cooper, and quite an extraordinary story. It's very sad what has happened to him, especially seeing he really does have his heart in the right place when it comes to animals. And from what he's told us tonight, there's no question he's been targeted for some reason. So let's see what plays out there. I'm going to go out with Op ons rots, and don't forget, this will be my last live stream for a few weeks because I'm taking a break. But I look forward to catching you when we do get going again early in April. Have a great evening, and take care. Bye for now, and thanks to the mods for the great work that you guys do in the sideshow. Here we go. Op ons rots.
Ons loop hand aan hand op goue warm sand. So baie wat ek wil hee, so baie dit brand. Ek staan op my rots, met golwe wat bots. Ons het geen vrees, want hy is in beheer. Ons sien al die planne van goddeloze manne. Ons weet hulle gaan nie wen nie, dis geskryf soos 'n duif. Ons sal wen, aanhou glo, want hy is in beheer. Die winde waai sterk, dis kragte wat werk. Die gevoel in my hart, dis vrees wat wil brand. Ons is boere met trots, met my hand teen my bors. Ons ken geen vrees, want hy is in beheer. Ons sien al die planne van goddeloze manne. Ons weet hulle gaan nie wen nie, dis geskryf soos 'n duif. Ons sal wen, aanhou glo, want hy is in beheer. Ons sien wat gebeur, die leer sal ons nie skeer. Kom staan nog 'n keer, ek is stil, want ek weet hy is in beheer. Ons sien al die planne van goddeloze manne. Ons weet hulle gaan nie wen nie, dis geskryf soos 'n duif. Ons sal wen, aanhou glo, want hy is in beheer. Ons sien al die planne van goddeloze manne. Ons weet hulle gaan nie wen nie, dis geskryf soos 'n duif. Ons sal wen, aanhou glo, want hy is in beheer. Ja, hy is in beheer.